Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. To start things off, we have some very ridiculous Bitcoin pricing news. A physical Bitcoin is selling on eBay for 99,000 US dollars. The seller claims it is a collector's must-have. It is a Cassius brass token that was created in 2011. According to the listing, the physical coin is loaded with one Bitcoin that has not been redeemed, and all the seals remain intact. Payment can be made in cash or crypto, and the seller says they will also consider selling it for real estate. Okay, however, the listing adds that cars and boats are a no-no. The seller says they made the purchase back in 2011 and have kept it in their safe since then, adding only a few hundred remain in the entire world. For those who don't know, little thing right here, Cassius Bitcoins were invented by a crypto enthusiast in the early 2010s as a collectible that contained real cryptocurrency. The man behind the concept stopped selling them in November 2013. This was actually a very big thing when I just kind of got into it. It was like this thing where people were very annoyed with the fact that you couldn't hold a Bitcoin. I promise you that was definitely a thing. I'm pretty sure there were still some people, even right now, who have a bit of an issue with not being able to physically hold their Bitcoin, or not seeing how Bitcoin has any value because they can't simply hold it in their hand. So it was this person, and it was also another person in Japan who created physical Bitcoins, where pretty much on the back of the Bitcoin, it was like a little QR code type thing with like a sticker on top of it, and you could tell if someone had peeled off the sticker, and if you had peeled off the sticker, you could simply scan it and get your actual Bitcoin for it. It even says how many of them were actually made. According to the website, 15,581 coins with a denomination of 1 Bitcoin have been produced. 4,600 have been opened thus far. I think there's only 3 of them in the world that have over 100 Bitcoin on them. There was an article sometime last year I was reading about it. It was very random. You know how you always find those really random things, and they were talking about how I think that coin, if Bitcoin goes up to where the article writer believes that Bitcoin is going to go, could be the most valuable object in the entire world. It's really, really crazy that could be the most expensive coin in the world, but even more so that as Bitcoin is floating around $11,400, that someone thinks that they could sell a physical coin that is, what, 7 years old? For almost $100,000. Like, I get the enthusiasm, but you got to reel it in a little bit. The other news story about ridiculous pricing, we're seeing this all around the world. I thought it was I guess it is kind of a trend. I think people are trying to really cash in on the Bitcoin hype that's going around right now. A couple of days ago, this also ended up happening. Where is it? The price of Bitcoin skyrocketed in Zimbabwe. Each Bitcoin can be purchased in the country for around 76,000 US dollars on local Bitcoin, a recognized peer-to-peer exchange. It shows how the currency can be used in countries that implement capital control. So you can kind of see it on the screen right here. It says it on the actual tweet that was talking about it. There were a couple of people in Zimbabwe on local Bitcoin who were trying to sell their Bitcoin for 76,000 US dollars. Apparently, I don't know if it even says it in this article. Maybe it does somewhere around here. There was apparently another type of currency that was used in Zimbabwe as a digital means of payment, but I think the government made it illegal. So people were trying to take advantage, the easiest way of saying it, of people who were trying to get rid of that other e-currency in order to be able to swap it into Bitcoin. But in order to be able to do so, they had to sell it for an extremely high premium. Like, I could not even kind of understand. I could get if people were saying, like, okay, they can't use it anymore, so let me try and, squeeze a bit more out of them. Let me make sure that I sell my Bitcoin for 20,000, 22, 23, maybe even 25,000 if people were really desperate enough. But 76,000 is completely insane, as is $99,000 for a Bitcoin. I can only imagine what these people are going to try and sell it for when Bitcoin actually does end up hitting $100,000. I think they were trying to mimic the so-called kimchi premium that we were seeing a couple of months ago, or rather even a year and some change ago. And even I think it came back a couple of weeks ago as well, as people within, I believe it was South Korea, who were spending, I think, over $1,000 more per Bitcoin than it actually was. People are interesting, to say the least. And without further ado, let's move on. Next up, Ripple is in the news. Ripple's global head of banking, Marjan Delatine, says the company now has 20 clients that are utilizing XRP that is powered by xRapid. In a new interview with Global Trader Review, Delatine highlights the use case for XRP, or xRapid, and the impact it could have on cross-border remittances, especially in countries where it's slower and more expensive to move capital. She said, xRapid went live last October, so it's a very new product, but we have more than 20 financial institutions using it. We're talking with banks, we still have to ensure that they understand that using the product is not about keeping XRP around in their balance sheets. That's very important for the banks to understand, because they would otherwise have to report that to regulators. So there's a lot of education. But what is apparent with the regional banks and also the payment service providers is that they are hungry for change, for having a competitive edge. That's really the driver. Being able to secure our on-demand liquidity and provide a real-time experience in terms of cross-border payments. And it kind of goes on to say, so far, 13 companies have publicly said that they're going to be using xRapid. Even though this person said that there are 20 who are using it, these are the list of the companies that we've seen before. I think it's 13. Yep, 13 companies who are using xRapid: Euro, XM Bank, Bittrex, Bitso, Coin.ph, Bitstamp, Qualex, Mercury FX, Catalyst, SBI. We know about SBI, IDT, V America, SendFriend, and BitTrue. I think we had information about SendFriend, I think, launching their product about a day or two ago that was going to be using XRP. Why did my voice go so high? That was going to be using XRP. And I think there was some other significant information somewhere around here. Actively working corridors for XRP. Mexico, Philippines says they're looking to expand to Canada, Middle East, and 8 additional countries. As for whether Facebook's digital currency known as Libra will compete with Ripple, Delatine says the social media giant is bringing more credibility to the space. But in the long run, Delatine says Facebook, which is facing significant blowback from regulators, is taking a different approach than Ripple. The podcast I was listening to there was a podcast I was listening to, and there was also, oh gosh, what was it? It was the CEO of some company. You always see him on television. He's there more than Mr. Novogratz is, and he was saying they were asking him what he thought about Facebook's initiative and what it would do to banks, and like right before the video ended up cutting off, I think the last thing that he said was like, it's going to destroy banks and central banks, and then like the interview kind of cut off. Anyway, the point is, we're getting slivers of news, I kind of want to say, just about every day, every other day, from the people at Ripple about xRapid, about XRP, about who's going to be using their products. Yeah, not even to delve a lot further into that, but I feel like we should maybe be receiving more information relatively soon from the people from Ripple as to the other companies who are going to be using XRP/xRapid, especially. You can't say you have more than 20 who are using xRapid and then we only have a list of 13. Kind of fascinating, because you really want to know exactly how many out there are actually using it. But without further ado, let's move on. Here's a very, very interesting one. BTG Pactual, Brazil's 5th largest bank, plans to utilize the Tezos blockchain for security token offerings, potentially worth $1 billion. For the effort, BTG, also Brazil's largest standalone investment bank, will team with Dubai-based asset manager Dalma Capital. In a press release released on Wednesday, the two firms said that they would use the Tezos network for the sale of digital securities to address a deal pipeline in excess of $1 billion for existing and prospective token issuances. The deals include the Right BZ, tokenized property offering announced in February, and would further cover a variety of traditional and alternative investments. They noted, utilizing Tezos, a self-amending blockchain and smart contract platform, will encourage BTG Pactual and Dalma Capital to enhance their digitization efforts by transacting in digital assets. Since the announcement earlier, the Right BitZ STO, which uses an Ethereum-based token, has launched and passed its soft cap, according to the release. The point is, banks are finally coming forward talking about that they're going to be using cryptocurrencies, and I don't understand why it's not making everyone go completely insane. We had for a very long time, there were no banks in the world who even announced, who even talked about Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. The name of the game was always blockchain. It was always, we're not even touching a coin. We're not even touching anything. They were even afraid of anyone even want to talk about touching a blockchain, because it was just something that they kept on saying that they didn't need. They didn't find it useful. And just about every week, we're at least getting 3 to 4 different stories about a major bank, a major institution, a major something else who's either mining cryptocurrencies, using a blockchain. It's all very completely insane. Tezos isn't normally in the news, but I feel like something behind the scenes is definitely happening with them. As far as, I even have some of the articles up here. I don't know, for those of you who remembered, this one says, this was from April. It says, Tezos spikes 33% in 7 days, supported by French finance minister's positive remarks. He said, I am talking in particular of Tezos overcoming the known defects of public blockchains. Tezos, technical remains, blah, 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 so-and-so, price. We also had, where is it? This one. Tezos token officially supported on Coinbase. Tezos jumps by 20%. And then Coinbase Custody launches staking support for Tezos. MakerDAO governance to follow. This was March 29th. For those of you who were not here before the prices of all these cryptocurrencies started shooting up, it was very weird because the people from Coinbase had announced that they were thinking of potentially adding, I believe it was 32 new coins or 28, some large amount of new coins, and everyone completely lost their minds. They announced this at the end of 2018. And one of the coins that kind of stuck out for a lot of people was Tezos because it was never in the news. People never spoke about it. It was never a thing that people had even thought about putting their money into. Not financial advice, just saying. And then all of a sudden, we started having tons of news about Tezos being utilized and Tezos being added. And even when people were calling or screaming at Coinbase to add other coins, Coinbase started adding these really random tokens that people weren't even asking for. And then they were also making sure, like I think a day or two after they had even added Tezos to their platform, they had also made sure to add staking for it as well. And then they started having interviews about Tezos, very openly talking about, yeah, we think Tezos is going to be the future, or we see a lot of demand and support for Tezos. And we are trying to, I think the whole story for it was even a podcast. It was either on Unchained or Unconfirmed, one of the Laura Shin podcasts, and she was talking about, she was asking why people had gotten so into Tezos, and they were talking about, yeah, it was great, enterprise, so and so and so, and they were saying that they decided to do the staking support for Tezos on Coinbase because they had seen institutional demand asking for a cryptocurrency where they could make passive income from, and apparently Tezos was the one, but that still was never a real answer, at least at that point, as to why there was such a huge move to Tezos. I don't know, if, like I said, at the beginning of the year, there was no news about Tezos, and for some reason now Tezos is getting all this worldwide support. It's very, very interesting. I won't even say odd. It's very interesting to see exactly where this could end up going. I don't know. I wonder how big this could be. Of course, whenever we hear, like the news that we get is the news that kind of trickles down, like when the non-disclosure agreements are kind of finished and we can finally hear about the big moves, because I'm pretty sure this was probably in the works for at least a while. But I wonder how much other stuff is happening behind the scenes with Tezos, with EOS, with Ethereum, with Cardano, because we get such really weird snippets of news at very odd and random times. So the point is that the 5th largest bank in Brazil is going to be using Tezos for their security token offerings, which is also completely insane. I always wonder why certain blockchains get chosen over others. I usually assume it has to do with some type of I want to say an inner partnership, i.e., if someone created X coin and X coin is making them a lot of money, they can simply tell one of their banking friends, hey, I'm using X coin and so is so and so and so, and therefore, the structure is really good, blah, 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 blah. Because some of it seems a little bit too weird. I assume it has to do with someone else who dipped their toes into it very early, made a lot of money from it, or is a backer or supporter of it, and they simply tell their other friends to do so. This is why I think we hear a lot about Ethereum, because I think Ethereum, they made it out there first. So people were able to kind of jump on it and capitalize on it first. And this is why we keep hearing from, what is it? It's Novogratz and 2 other people who keep boasting about Bitcoin, EOS, and Ethereum, how they got into it first and how they think that everything is going to run on these 3 things. And you kind of have a whole bunch of other people who are also now pushing their support behind Tezos because they were probably some of the earliest people to get into Tezos. Still amazing news. This is incredible news. But yeah, let's move on. Next up, atomic swaps between Litecoin and Bitcoin are now live on Beam's crypto wallet. A new feature allows users to swap the 2 tokens for one another without needing a cryptocurrency exchange or other digital asset services in the middle of the transaction. Here's the actual tweet right here from Beam, who we never really hear about anymore, but very cool that Beam is doing this or has launched support on this. Once again, we were talking about this about a day or two ago, just to briefly slide over it, and people were asking me why we needed atomic swaps. The idea is that in the future, we won't need cryptocurrency exchanges because you'll simply be able to download something or have something already on your phone, as we see this new phenomenon of blockchain node phones that have crypto wallets on them. You're going to be able to swap between the coins at any given time whenever you want to without having to use a third party or having to use a cryptocurrency exchange. It'll be easy peasy and you won't really have to worry about anything anymore. Kind of. You know what I'm saying. The founder of Ripple-backed startup XRPL Labs, Vitsavind, says a beta version of the company's banking app will be released later on this year. The app is designed to let users hold and spend euros, dollars, XRP, and other currencies without any help from a financial institution. I remember when we first heard that this was going to be a thing. Apparently now it's going to be launched at the end of this year. Kind of cool. I believe this is one of the Ripple-backed startups we heard about yesterday from the Spring Initiative, that they had given $500 million to 20 different companies around the world to be able to foster the growth of XRP and XRP-based websites, dApps, companies, whatever you kind of want to call it. Kind of cool. I'll be honest with you, I hate hearing the words released later this year or sometime this year or the end of this year. I hate that. I always want like not an exact date, but give me like a month, somewhere around that, because it could be tomorrow, it could be 3 weeks from now, it could be December 31st for all we know. But anyway, this is going to launch. This is another thing that is going to be using XRP. And let's move on. To kind of finish things off, I thought this one was fascinating. No one knows if it's true, but still fascinating nonetheless. The host of CNBC's Crypto Trader says an unnamed country is taking a close look at backing its currency with Bitcoin. Rand Neuner says he signed a non-disclosure agreement and can't reveal which country is exploring Bitcoin. He thinks the proposal is a long shot because it's an important sign of things to come. He said there's a proposal from a small country to back their currency with Bitcoin, though the country is very small, and I doubt this iteration will be passed. It's a clear signal of the direction we are moving in. It's also a great idea. I can't disclose the country due to a NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. I feel like it's true. I think it would be, I don't know. I'm very, we live in a very irrational cryptocurrency market. We have a lot of news about countries doing stuff with Bitcoin or mining Bitcoin, or banks mining Bitcoin, or banks using Bitcoin, or banks potentially but could be buying up Bitcoin. I wonder exactly what impact that would have on the actual cryptocurrency market. I guess if we had proper news from a country, even if it was a small country, that they have been buying up Bitcoin in order to be able to back their currency because it doesn't work. I think that could have some type of a movement on it. But even the news that we had that Venezuela was accepting, I think they were only accepting their paper money, their petro currency, and Litecoin and Bitcoin as the only remittance money that could legally go or flow into the country. And it did nothing to the price of Bitcoin. Just shows how, I'm going to use the word irrational. That's the nicest word I can kind of use, that the cryptocurrency market is. The price of Bitcoin should have skyrocketed. When we finally start getting, we are finally starting to get proper information that there are countries out there, especially, remember the other countries, never forget, who announced to the International Monetary Fund that they were going to be launching bonds based on Bitcoin, or Bitcoin-backed bonds. This is very huge. This is very significant news, and I think a lot of the people, especially the it's not even new people getting into the cryptocurrency space. They have no idea what they're really doing. They're just trying to get their feet wet and figure out exactly how much of what coin they should be buying. But other people who've been into crypto for about a year, you should all know better and understand exactly where this is going, especially because we're getting news about this just about every single day, especially all these governments and countries trying to make sure that crypto is legalized within their country and that people have access to this, and that people, this worldwide infrastructure is being built up massively and very, very quick. And people keep losing sight of that, and I don't understand exactly what it is. I've even noticed that there's I'm pretty sure you maybe also be able to feel it as well. There's when Bitcoin isn't shooting up in price, that euphoria kind of goes away is because people aren't really paying attention to the fact that we are getting news like this every single day. The fact that when we do get solid news that all these countries and companies and banks are going to be using Bitcoin, it'll be too late for the normal person, the average everyday person, to be able to actually buy Bitcoin at that point. It's like no one's paying attention to the fact that we're getting all these breadcrumbs and all this news about banks and institutions using crypto and all this other stuff, like to redo their entire infrastructure based off of cryptocurrencies. It's very odd. I have, for those of you who were wondering, people keep asking, have I stopped buying crypto? I buy crypto every other day. Not even joking. Whenever I get a chance, if I have a bit extra, if I don't, I was gonna say if I don't splurge on something, I don't splurge on anything. I don't even buy other things anymore. Like a gift to myself is buying crypto. That's not a joke, like at all a joke. Like I figure out ways to acquire more money just to be able to buy more cryptocurrency. This cryptocurrencies are going to be major. Like it's going to be the new world infrastructure. A lot of people don't get that. I think the only thing that's going to push more people into the Bitcoin market is when Bitcoin does end up passing by 50,000 on its way to 100,000. But at that point, you can't really even get anything. Like I think I bought $100 worth of Bitcoin like a day or two ago, and it was like 0.0008 or something like that. It was almost like nonsensical how little it actually was. Anyway, enough about me. How are you all doing? I'm sure no one got that joke. Anyway, as always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters: Kyle Chasse, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Professor Wally from Gunbot University, my Keto Kitchen, Adobo, Crypto and Beer Shipmate, Brady Niels, L. Doug, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, Crypto Joe, Mohair Maroney, Carl Birchenoff, singer-songwriter Mike Savitz, Rai, Yasha Harari, Amy Starsheen, Jeffrey Ramsey, Clara T. Snowden, Crypto Artist, Goldie 3D, Nicholas Renorth, One Piece, One Love, Setsuna, Nick. Whoa. There we go. Where was I? Nick Kanaya, Richie Rich III, RF Dusty, Cody, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Tom Sucks at Basketball, and Sam Skips Leg Day, Jeremy the Photographer, Jim Gardner, Minting Coins, Arthur Yako, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, and Mick Hannick. Thank you all very much for your support. At the moment, the market is kind of insane. The fluctuations are absolutely wonderful to look at. Volatility in the cryptocurrency space means that we have traders back in the cryptocurrency market. It means that people are interested once again. Whenever we see these spikes going up and down, it means that people are actually trading cryptocurrencies. It means that people are interested. People are trying to acquire larger amounts of Bitcoin than they already have, and therefore the supply of Bitcoin that is kind of out there is being taken away, which then causes the prices of cryptocurrencies to go up even higher every single time. I don't know if it's coordinated. I don't know. That Bitcoin ends up going down, we end up seeing a relatively quick spike back up. For those of you who were here yesterday, Bitcoin was around, it was 10,000, was it 600? And then it was 10,000, I think 850. And I woke up this morning, it is now 11,326 US dollars per coin. A lot of renewed interest back in the cryptocurrency space. I see the movements. I don't understand, rather, I don't know if everyone else does. Whenever Bitcoin seems to be going up a lot farther or higher than the other altcoins usually do, this is a reverse of what we typically would see, i.e. whenever Bitcoin would go up, the other altcoins would shoot up a lot faster. Bitcoin goes up, the other altcoins kind of go up a little bit. And then what ends up happening is that Bitcoin has this little downtrend, especially one that we're seeing right now. And the altcoins usually go into red almost immediately, while Bitcoin still stays in the green. And Bitcoin's dominance is at 62% right now. Completely insane. I assumed we're going to see more of this. People are still calling for that alt season. Let's see if it actually ends up happening. Is Tezos actually even up? Well, Tezos is only up by 3%. This is what I mean when I talk about an irrational market. The market doesn't really make a lot of sense. Sometimes people say that these things will later on be priced into the movements of the coins, or as things are skyrocketing up, that we could then see these other coins finally putting in the numbers or equating exactly what happened before. But as of right now, some of these coins should definitely be going a lot higher. We're already seeing the Doge fall down. It's already down 12% from the news that we had yesterday that Binance added it. But kind of is what it is. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening. Hope that you all have a great weekend. Go outside and do something fun. it should be relatively. Somebody was even weird to address this. Someone got upset with me yesterday because I mentioned that it was summer here and therefore it was warm outside, and they said, well, I'm on the other part of the world and it's not summer where I am. I'm sorry that I don't know where every single person is who listens to my channel. I'm sorry that I am in a part of the world right now that is warm. You can't make everybody happy. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I'll definitely talk to you all soon. See you.